Hey everybody, it's Boardman21 and today's build is going to be the Lich Sacrifice build. We've gotten away from the Necromancer, we're going to the Lich, and we will not be using Death Seal. We will actually be running this with the new skill Bone Curse, and Bone Curse has the old Mark of Death Bone Prison in it, which you can now summon, and it has a 70% cooldown, so instead of having to wait 20 seconds, you can actually do it again in just 6 seconds, which actually makes it quite viable in a build. While you're waiting on that cooldown, you can also summon Rhaegor skeletons, and then we will be sacrificing both of them, and the hit damage on it is very impressive, and there's some things that you can get on gear to make it even more ridiculous. In fact, the damage is so much that we were able to one-shot some of the bosses because it kills them before their damage reduction system can even take effect. On top of that, because you are also hitting for so much damage, you get a lot of leech. On top of that, you also get Reaper form, so you get a free life. So with all of that, the survivability is pretty high. The move speed with Transplant and Reap allows you to go through the maps relatively really fast. You do have to stop and cast here and there, but you one-shot everything so you can just fly through the monos, and this is a great build if you've reached the mono and you're struggling, you're on a Lich, and the Death Seal maybe isn't working that well for you anymore. This one will definitely take that spot. Let's go ahead and get into the skills. For skills, we're running Bone Curse, Summon Skeleton, Sacrifice, Reaper Form, and Transplant. For Bone Curse, we have 5 points in Conflation, 1 point in Bone Prison, 1 point in Shattered Prison, and 2 points in Ossify to increase their health. Now, this will make sure that it has more health than you have, just so that you'll get more damage when you do use Sacrifice, and when we get to the Sacrifice skill tree, we'll get into that. After that, I'm not sure entirely what actually is useful, because since you're using it to just summon the Bone Prison and Sacrifice is actually the skill doing damage, everything else on this tree might actually be useless. However, the way we have the points is 5 points in Iron Maiden for more damage, 2 points in Crippling Anguish for slowing enemies, 1 point in Fertility, and I know it does mark for death on cast, which will Mark of Death everything in its entire area, which this one does work. 2 points in Reaper's Mark for increased mark duration, and 1 point in Misery to convert the Bone Curse's damage to necrotic. However, this one I don't know if it really does anything for you. You don't need it. You can just put points to maximize the Reaper's Mark. For Summon Skeleton, now when you use this, you're just sacrificing them the moment you cast them, so you want the mana back on kill, and after that you can do anything you want. So we have 3 points in Unholy Rage, 1 point in MaoMaox's, 1 point in Hollow Walkers, 2 points in Necrotic Conviction, 1 point in Marrow Tap, 2 points in Empty the Grave so that you'll summon 3 at once. This makes it much faster. 2 points in Unbound Necromancy, 1 point in Gravewalkers, 1 point in Soul Catcher, and 3 points in Mind Catcher, which means that you can get 15 mana back every time that you sacrifice one. Now, since you cast 3 for the cost of 35 and you get 15 for each one, this means you can get 45 mana back for using 35 mana, which means you're actually mana positive with this combination. And with Memory Catcher, your global increased spell damage will increase by 75% if a skeleton has died in the last 4 seconds, which will be happening all the time, so this is a guaranteed spell damage increase. For Sacrifice, this will be the skill that you're using for damage. We went with 3 points in Soul Shatter for some hit damage increase, 4 points in Great Sacrifice. This increases the hit damage by 140% since the minions will have more life than you do. 3 points in Pontifex, since when you use Bone Prison you're getting 12 minions at once, you might as well get 4.5% more damage per one of those minions. This ends up equaling out to about 55% damage increase. 4 points in Temple of Awe for increased area, 5 points in Necrotic Audience for increased area, and 1 point in Catalyst of Horror to make it chain. If you don't want to put the full 4 points in Temple of Awe, you can take out 3 of these points, put 1 in Necrotic Audience, to get some more area, and then you could even do the Bone Nova if you'd like. For Reaper form, this is your free life. You're not really getting much out of this other than increased damage, so feel free to put it however you want. But we have 3 points in Mistress of Decay, 4 points in Harbinger of Blood. You can, if you would like more spell damage, put some points into Reaper's Ascendance. I would almost rather put here than up top, so you feel free to change that up. We have 4 points in Death Touch Scythe for some more necrotic damage, 2 points in Soul for a soul, 4 points in Reaper's Curse, 2 points in Death Comes Quickly, and 1 point in Rapid Destruction. For Transplant, the only thing you need is mana back. After that, you can do whatever you want with this tree. So 1 point in Acolyte's Fervor, 2 points in Asceticism, 3 points in Pale Blood, and that's your mana back. After that, do whatever you like. The way we have it here is 1 point in Sticky Blood, 1 point in Rain of Blood, 1 point in Depravity, 3 points in Last Laugh for some more minion damage, 3 points in Bone Armor, 3 points in Apostasy, and 2 points in Plated Bone. For passives, we have 26 points in the Acolyte base class with 8 points in Blood Aura, 5 points in Blood Pact, 5 points in Glimpse and Gluttony, and 8 points in Forbidden Knowledge. We have 10 points in the Necromancer to unlock Sacrifice. We have 5 points in Grave Thorns and 5 points in Reclamation of Souls. And for the Lich, our Master class, we have 78 points with 8 points in Crippling Insight, 8 points with Survival of the Cruel, 5 points with Grasp of Fate, 8 points in Dance with Death, 8 points in Desolation, 8 points in Unclosing Wounds, 10 points in Necrotic Energy, 8 points in Ageless Ascetic, 5 points in Soul Mal, and 10 points in Mind over Body. Now, we did not 100% optimize this. Some of these things you can change around. For instance, the increased minion damage over time is not needed. Feel free to change out these 8 points, and you could go for bleed chance on that hit or anything else that you would like. Even getting the Putrid Wrath on kill is nice because it's some extra ones that you'll then be able to sacrifice. So feel free to change out those points with either raise, or you could get more mana, ward retention, anything that you'd really like. And for items, there are 4 idols that you could go for. Increased damage while transformed, less damage taken. You can go for increased health. There's a lot of different ones that you can go for. Here we just went with a bunch of increased damage while transformed ones that we found. For items, for your wand, you're going to want added melee physical damage, and then after that you could do spell damage, or in our case we have spell critical strike chance because we try to get closer to 100% spell crit with sacrifice. We also have more mana and some elemental protection. For the chest and the helm, you're going to want the increased physical damage while transformed, and then we went with int and dex. You can put int is probably your best prefix. After that you can do anything. You could do some dodge or some health regen, anything that you'd like. And then we also have increased physical spell critical strike chance, because that's a nice one that you can now put in the suffix slot. That was really helping us get towards 100%. We're roughly at about 70% crit chance. We have the same thing for the helm, except that we put on Set Glancing Blow. And then for our amulet, we have poison protection, dodge, and health. It's really not the best amulet. It was set dodge, but it's now increased armor because of the patch. It got redone. With our rings, we went with set dodge and intelligence. In the bottom, we like dodge, but you could go with health, you could go with armor, you could do protections if you wanted. You are running low life, although with the leech you'll have full life almost at all times. More health on the belt. We went with more intelligence and health on the gloves. The boots, same story. And then the set dodge is now gone from the relic as well, so we get the mana, health, and intelligence from that. For our character sheet, you can see we don't have very many protections. However, you don't really need them. You're leeching so much, that's what will keep you alive. These are our damages. We do have 100% glancing blow. We have a little bit of dodge, nothing too spectacular. And then for the gameplay of this build, it's going to work just like you think it was. I like to put Transplant and Reaper Form both on autocast just to make sure I don't have to push those buttons. And then all I'm focused about is either using E or R, either using Bone Curse every time it comes off cooldown, or summoning some skeletons and then sacrificing them. So what you'll do is you'll do your little thing, you get your whole nice wall here, you'll put in some skeletons, and then you just sacrifice it. And when you sacrifice it, boom, the entire screen goes boom. You get your mana back, and that's the entire playstyle. It does great damage. You'll see that in the gameplay, and it's just a huge explosion. You have massive area because we took all the area nodes, and everything just dies. Alright, here's some gameplay.